is the Dublin Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
There we go. Just coming up to 28 minutes past 8 here, Trickstar Radio. We're back inside the building. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu. We're going to get into our football section, looking at all the latest results from over the weekend. Friday night did kick us off at 1-1 with Newcastle and Leeds. Rafinha's 13th minute strike being cancelled out by St. Maximin, who is on serious fire right now. I really like St. Maximin as a player. Just makes things happen. Exciting to watch. Good attitude, just in general. I love watching him play. Saturday, we saw more interesting ones. Wolves took a 2-0 home defeat to Brentford. Goals from Tony and Mbeumo. Really interesting stuff there. Arsenal with a 1-0 away win at Burnley as they look to slowly but surely start to climb the table. Salah with a very Liverpool with a very comfortable 3-0 home win against Crystal Palace. Salah, Keita and Mane all on the score sheet. Keita with an absolute scorcher. City held to a 0-0 draw at home to Southampton, and Watford with a 3-1 away win at Norwich City. Aston Villa with a smooth 3-0 defeat of Everton as well. Bailly scoring a wicked goal, and Cash with his first goal in Aston Villa colours, I believe. Great stuff. Moving on to the Sunday then, we saw Brighton take a 2-1 home win at Leicester City. Questionable penalty, I've got to say, but Maupay did bury it. Welbeck on the 50th, and then Vardy scored to get his 150th Leicester goal on the 61st. Chelsea with a 3-0 away win at Tottenham Hotspur. They looked very, very comfortable indeed. Spurs just didn't show up in the second half. And now I want to get on to discussing this, because we are going to talk about the United game next, because I, when watching this game, was just not happy. Not because of the way United were playing. I actually thought United played pretty well, both in the first half and second half. Outside of some shady defending, I actually think it's the best United have looked this season. And the reason I am so fuming at this is because there were about 5 or 6 instances that VAR and refereeing in general should have made at least more executive decisions on, shall we say, because if you listen to this show regularly, you'll know I have issues with VAR. My main issue is that the idea of what can be overturned seems to be drastically based entirely still on opinion, but still based entirely on protecting referees more than anything else. Because when you look at it, the general rule is it has to be a clear and obvious error. Who defines how clear an error has to be? Because I see a lot of penalties not given and a lot of non-penalties not overturned purely because it's not clear enough that there's an error there. But it's either a penalty or it isn't 99% of the time, and I have such an issue with this as a layout, especially considering during this United and West Ham game, there was a Paul Pogba challenge where he pulls out of the tackle, gets next to no contact on the player, and the player goes diving forward and wins a free kick on the edge of the United box, and it's like, cool, okay, fair enough, you've given that. The exact same challenge happens about 15 minutes later in the West Ham box, except in the West Ham box there's clear contact made on Ronaldo and there's no penalty given. So again, no consistency there whatsoever. It was looked at by VAR, I think, but it wasn't overturned, which is bizarre to me, because if you were judging the tackles next to each other, you have to stay consistent with it. Again, something that really annoys me is sometimes it's not given as a penalty because it's in the box, and it's not given as a foul. It makes no sense to me. It should be consistent the entire way across the pitch. And then following that, a couple of minutes later, Ronaldo is clearly brought down in the West Ham box. Nothing given. It was VAR, and they went, it wasn't clear enough of an error. Now again, this makes absolutely no sense to me, because if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. It's not based on how wrong the ref got it. There has to be some level of threshold where he either is or either isn't. If they're leaving certain things up to the referee's judgment, that's perfectly fine. But surely, when it's that blatant, it has to just be overturned instantaneously. I don't really understand what's going on with VAR at the moment. I've had a few things this year that have been very, very shady. There's been a lot of shady penalties given. For me, it still isn't working, and it's extremely frustrating, especially when West Ham then go up the other end and get a penalty, which was a clear penalty. I actually think West Ham should have had a penalty in the second half as well, like a clear foul from Wan-Bissaka, and it went the other way. So many refereeing errors in high-profile games. Realistically, West Ham are going to be a top half. They're going to be challenging for Europe this year with the way they're currently set up. They put up a good fight without their main striker. They were 1-0 up for around 5 minutes, but they were still leading at one point. You have to take into account how big these fixtures all are now in the Premier League, and I don't understand why at this point point, we still have arguably some of the worst reffing in Europe, realistically, despite the fact that undoubtedly we have the strongest league in regards to the quality of players and the quality of competition. It's so bizarre to me that this is currently where we're at, and we are still going, refereeing decision. It's still, you don't really hear about it from other leagues. It's just so questionable constantly, and a lot of the time it almost looks like the refs are trying to either be controversial or they're trying to take some limelight. It's so bizarre to me, the kind of level at which we are now playing, and yet still have these bizarre decisions going on left, right and centre. But anyway, that's my rant over. Wasn't very happy. I'm very happy United still got the win. A fantastic penalty save from David De Gea to deny Mark Noble. Some shady decision making following what went on in the Euros from David Moyes there. But 3 points for United, and they remain in third place. Brighton up to fourth place as well, which is fantastic to see. I'm loving the fact that Brighton are doing so well this year. Obviously, I'm a United fan first, but seeing Brighton do well will always make me happy. And there we go. It does currently look like Chelsea and Liverpool are emerging as the two favourites this year, with City dropping points again, but we shall see as the season rolls on. We're going to get into our track of the week next. This one, Mass Law alongside Safa Garishi. It goes by the name Moving. It's an absolute banger, and hopefully it will cheer you up after my little rant. But there we go. Keep it locked and don't go anywhere, people.
Track of the week.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.